Let me tell you about my canoe. Eagle. Welcome to another video on Sam's Spray Hut. Just launched on Sam Rayburn Reservoir, and I don't have a plan for the day other than just go out and go fishing. Probably head towards the canyon area. Dang, you got off. Little white bass. tell you about my canoe. Cruiser 15.8 pack boat from Swift Canoes and Kayaks in Canada. Well, we have, as far as the laminate goes and hull design, this is Basalto Negro on the inside, a layer of Kevlar and Basalto Negro on the outside, plus a clear coat, polyethylene, I believe. That's what's very strong, very durable. This is called, laminate layering system is called Expedition Kevlar. And the shape of the hull is designed by David Yost. It's got air wells in the back and one in the front. In case it turns over, it can still float. Carbon handle, carbon tip. Same on the back. The thwarts are carbon. I had the Kevlar tip protectors put on the front and the back. That's a necessity with any kind of rock banks or gravel. And it comes in handy on the back for whenever you're dragging it up the shore and just the tip of the back of the canoe is on the ground and you're just trying to get it up out. If you look, going down, a traditional canoe goes out wide in the middle and goes back to the point in the back. With this gunnel here, this is the gunnel. It actually goes out, tucks back in, and then goes out and then back in. It's called the S-curve gunnel. And the reason they do that is because unlike a normal canoe where you have two seats, this is a solo boat with the seat in the middle, down low, designed to paddle with a short paddle or a kayak paddle. And this is brought in significantly in from a traditional canoe. A traditional canoe a lot wider and you have to reach over the side. As you can tell, I've done quite a few modifications. I've spent many hours paddling this boat, no telling how many hundreds of miles on rivers and lakes. Texas, Louisiana, and Florida mainly. I had an accident with this boat a couple of years ago, I guess, where I was going to Lake Ray Roberts north of Fort Worth, and the canoe rack on my truck released, and this boat and the rack came off the truck going 65 miles an hour down a highway in a stiff headwind, and of course it was upside down like a canoe on a truck, and it left the truck and went on the shoulder of the road and landed like an airplane. And it hit pretty hard, scraped the tip off. This is a replacement tip. Scraped the sides, gunnels, scraped the tip on the back. I had to replace it too. Broke some glue joints in here. The thwarts here were weakened, cracked the thwart back here too. So what I had to do, major modifications, and I tried re-gluing it and that didn't work. I went ahead and put all thread through the handle and the thwarts and put nuts and washers on each end. Added some weight, but I know for sure this is not going to come unglued and pop off, because it was a hard hit down the highway. See, I got them here too, there and there. There's 4 all threads that I drilled and put through there, nuts and washers. This right here is just simply rubber tape with some Gorilla Tape on top It's amazing how loud the paddle is when you lay it here without a pad. So that's just to quiet it down for fishing, basically. This is a homemade cup holder. I took a black cutting board, cut it into the half circle shape, and cut out a hole for my cup holder. It's just clamped on with these clamps, so I can take it off at any time. This is just an Amazon aluminum tripod. I broke my little cheap light plastic one, so I got a beefy one that I haven't broke yet. It's wedged in there and clamped with strap buckles, so it's pretty steady. This is just a GoPro holder, I forget what you call it, but it's holding my power bank that I plug my phone into for extra juice. These are Scotty rod holders. It's this clamp's designed to clamp on just about anything. I think I pushed it to a limit, but it does fine. This is one piece, and this is another piece. This is the rod holder. Got two of those. Very simple to operate. Back here, I've got an anchor. This is my anchor that if I ever need to stop and fish or not get blown away in the wind, that's my anchor. Tackle box, sunscreen, bug spray. I've got a ATV rack clamp to hold my bailing pump. If you get water in here, you got to scoop it out or dump your whole boat. And this is made for kayaks, so you can stick that in there and pump it out. Got a little kayak bag under here. Got a little saw and things I need for cutting brush. Here is a little floaty, rectangle floaty with a paddle float basically. And what that's for is if you turn over out in the lake, you salvage what you can, you turn the boat back up, pump it out, and you need to get back in. So that float right there goes on the paddle, and then I clamp the paddle to the ATV clamps. So now I have a side float here to keep it from tipping. That allows me to crawl back in there. And I've seen it done, but I haven't tried it myself. Hadn't needed to. But it's all tried and true methods by others. Here's another phone clamp for holding the phone at a different angle for videoing. And of course my junk in here, I've got shoes for walking down the road, extra water shoes, got my cart, my net, binoculars. I keep stuff I need protected in dry bags. This size, I think it's 30 liter. Of course, a PFE. Life jacket. This is a Stoquist brand fishing type. It's got a lot of pockets. A paddle. It's not your typical kayak paddle. Typical kayak paddles are straight. Mine's got kinks for where you put your hands. And it's mainly designed like that for long distance paddling, older paddlers with wrist problems. And it's supposed to be a better angle when you're holding it paddling. And name of the company is Werner. Carbon graphite, I believe. Super light. The company is sold out, so Werner doesn't exist anymore by itself. But, there's lots of kayak paddles out there. Yep, at one time it was top of the line, but I believe there's others just as good now. Coming on up here, I got my Sam's Club cooler bag, which is my fish bag. I got my cleaning fillet knife, cutting board, just various things for cleaning fish, extra water bottles. This is my ground tarp. I don't know if you can see it or not, but these are kayak foot pegs. They slide and adjust. Since you're paddling like it's a kayak, it's good to have your feet supported like a kayak. Then I have it's a turkey lounger chair that I sit in. It's like a beach chair, just camouflage. This is my kitchen bag. It's got food, stove, bowls, various kitchen things. And a couple fishing rods. I prefer spinning rods, trolling like I do. You don't want a rod that's real stiff. You want a little play, the way the hook set is with your rod just steady. I've tried both, but I prefer this. The rods are just Ugly Sticks Elites. Ugly Sticks, they're about as tough as you can get. If you break an Ugly Stick, you've done something horrible. That's the reason I got it, because I figured I would break anything else. And Fuego reels, 2,500 and a 3,000. Nothing fancy. And then my cooler bag. It's a Titan deep freeze cooler bag. Costco sells these, or they used to. I've had it a couple of years now. It's really good. The zippers are awkward on top, but other than that, it's good. I've lived at the lake for 24 years now. And I moved out here with the flat bottom boat from the family. And it was 87 model, I believe. Wasn't too long. I bought a bass boat. It was a nitro. We covered the lake. We fished all over. We skied. We duck hunted. We did just about everything in that bass boat. And then started having little kids. Purchased a pontoon boat back in 2002, I believe. And then that pontoon boat until just recently. It's got lots of miles on it. It is a party craft. Bought it in Jasper. Had a 90 horse Yamaha on it. Real good boat. I hauled kids and teenagers out here to duck hunt, fish, and we hauled it to Arkansas and other lakes. We used the crap out of it. I'd like to see the number of hours on the boat, actually. Around 2010, I guess, I got into wanting a canoe. And a man at work had an old one. He sold me for $75. Old beat up aluminum canoe. And used the crap out of it. I took it all over the place too. And it was so beat up, I had to keep a piece of plywood in the middle to keep it structurally shaped right. We trot lined in it. And eventually, I ordered another aluminum canoe, 17-foot canoe with 3 seats. With the family, I wanted to take others with me. And paddled that for a year or so. plastic canoe called a camper by Old Town. Still got it. It needs some repair, but still got it. Still have the aluminum three-seater too. And paddled that Royal boat, the camper, for years. Ended up taking seats out and paddling it backwards. A traditional canoe is symmetric. You can turn it around and paddle backwards just as good as paddle forward. These boats like this are not symmetrical, asymmetrical. You can't paddle this one backwards. That's why the seat is fixed in the forward position. A lot like kayaks. And then decided in 22 that I wanted to go top the line and get a boat that was easy, getting a little older. Shoulders bothered me from doing the one paddle. And other people in the faster boats were leaving me behind. So I bit the bullet and ordered this. It was several $1,000s. It hit pretty hard, but it's been worth it. It's fit me in every way. I can just go out for a day cruise. I can go hunting in it. A shotgun fits right in the side, real good. Do all kinds of fishing. Something I haven't done much of is trot lining. I'm a little nervous about pulling up heavy weights and big fish on the side with such a narrow boat. I do it all day in a regular canoe, but this one's a little tippier. But I kind of got out of that anyway. I can ease around in the brush and miss crappie fish and brimfish. And then get out on the open water and troll. Catch white bass and largemouth and spotted sea trout and redfish over in Florida. That 4-0 canoe card, I bought it probably 17, 18 years ago. I think that's the third set of rims and maybe the fifth or sixth set of tires and tubes. I redesigned the top to hold my canoe. It's had different designs over the years that I've modified. It's rusting, it's in bad shape, but still gets the job done. I walked, like today, I walked a mile from the house to the launch site. I'll have to walk a mile back. It's 15-inch, 16-inch wheels, so I can go over quite a few routes and things along the lake shore too. A lot of my stuff is tethered in, as you saw with my boat paddle. In case I do tump over, I can salvage most of it. Some of it's loose, it'll probably float on its own, but I can gather up. Since I'm not in white water going down rapids, I'm not that worried about it. I've turned over once in Arkansas in the Old Town camper. I was on the Buffalo River in the scenic area, real sharp bend, and they call them sweepers, the logs that go over the river that you have to go under, and they sweep you out of your boat. Well, I got up to the first one and made it under with, I had my dog Lila with me. She was an 80-pound golden retriever. Managed to get by the first one and hit the second one, and it hit her pretty hard, and she decided to bail out upstream. The boat tilted a little and over it went. So I had to gather up all my stuff. My brother helped me at the time. But that's the only time I've really gone over. The original aluminum boat I had, I was going with a guy down the Natchez, and we actually went through some little bit of rapids, and the water actually came over the sides, and the boat sank down. And he held onto a stick, and I bailed out and swam to the bank, and eventually we got the boat to the side of the bank and dumped it out. Didn't actually turn it over, but it was full of water. We had to
We lost a few things, but we managed. Something I remember about that day, it was in the 20s and really cold, so we had to stop and build a fire. That was key.
Under this Gorilla Tape and rubber tape, there's bolt holes for screwing in a removable yoke or carrying it on your shoulder. I didn't buy the yoke from Swift Canoe. I made me a homemade one, and good thing I did, because I rarely carry it on my head. And you can carry it a pretty good long ways just over your shoulders. It's not that heavy. It's probably pretty heavy today, but I don't even remember the original dry weight. It was probably around 30 pounds. This is not the lightest laminate design. The Expedition Kevlar is actually the heaviest laminate design at the time. Less than half the weight of my Old Town camper canoe, and probably a third of the weight of the aluminum canoe. That sucker was heavy.
Swift Canoes is in Canada. I didn't want to drive all the way to Canada to get it. And they would ship it to your house for a fee, but a lot less. Shipping was, they just ship it to their dealers. There was some in the United States. Closest one to me was in Lafayette, Louisiana, and so that's where I went and got it. Picked it up after they called me and told me it was in. Pack and Paddle was the name of the shop there. Really neat little place. Basically backpacking and paddling, fishing kayaks and these and canoes, a variety of things. Eagle. It's time to take out and head home. It's been a few years since I looked up all the details of Swift Canoes and Kayaks, so go to the website, don't take my word for it. I was just doing the best I could from memory. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I sure appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one.